first I was upset.
Right.
I'm really upset, honestly, at God, because I'm like, you know what I'm going through right now. Why would you put this on me too?
Right. And you're
And
a new mother
then
at that.
yes, and
Yeah.
then I was a new mother, so it was like, why would you let me bring this child in the world and then take me from her? So those were my first reactions, first emotions. And I kept it to myself for a few weeks. I didn't
Right.
tell anyone for a few weeks, and then I told a best friend who helped me tell my mom. And we went from there with putting it out there. But it was honestly, after the anger and frustration part, I started to realize that I was blessed to be able to have the chance to fight it, because a lot of people are not offered chemotherapy or anything because it's too late. So what's
Right.
the point of doing it? So the fact that I had the chance to be able to be offered treatment.
Seem like the world been going crazy. 14 in my house with my say. Kinda in this loud, wonder why they hate. Cause I'm black and I'm proud, we need change right now.
Today we have the amazing Cryshaunda Rorie here on our show. Welcome to Wine.
Thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. She is an amazing woman. She's an entrepreneur, she's a mother, and she's done a lot of great things. So tell us, what are you all about?
So I'm about empowerment, motivation, anything that uplifts, and definitely anything that creates generational wealth.
I like that. I like that.
So like you said, my name is Cryshaunda Rorie. I stay in High Point, North Carolina, born and raised. I have a daughter named Blair Noel, who is a 4-year-old boss.
Okay.
I am currently working for the Family Justice Center in High Point, North Carolina, where I am a child abuse outreach specialist.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
yeah, I work with child abuse cases and things of that nature, and getting the information out to the community on how to look for signs, and what to look for if you think a child is in a child abuse situation in their home.
So when did you start that?
Not that many months ago.
Okay.
It is a newfound career, but it is something that I think will be very long lasting, because it's very rewarding.
Right. Life changing, it sounds.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely is.
Okay.
So, on my day-to-day basis, that's my 8 to 5 job, but I also run multiple businesses by myself and alongside of my 4-year-old boss baby.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so
In 2016, you had a life changing event
mhm.
that really impacted your life. Can
Mhm.
you tell us more about that moment?
Yeah, so in 2016, I was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer. I went to a routine physical, like a yearly physical that everyone should do. And something just wasn't normal with my blood count, and there was some other things that were off. So I was sent to a specialist from there, who then sent me to an oncologist to confirm that I indeed had cancer. When I found out I had pancreatic cancer, my daughter was only 6 months old,
Wow.
and I was going through a divorce. So it was a very traumatic event, life changing, but inspiring at the end of the day. I don't feel like if I had been diagnosed with cancer, and if I hadn't went through the things that I went through with dealing with cancer, dealing with the divorce, and having a arm baby looking at me who didn't understand anything that was going on, I wouldn't be the motivated person that I am today.
Right.
And I wouldn't have had the strength to push, to be where I am today. And I'm thankful that in the midst of it, I did have my 6-month-old child, who was there with me, because it was her that I looked at every day to continue to push through the chemotherapy. through all the doctor visits, through everything, because I wanted to live to see her grow up.
Right.
So that was my source of strength. That was my source of motivation.
So for those who don't know what pancreatic cancer is, how would you speak on that?
Well, pancreatic cancer is a cancer, of course, that attacks your pancreas.
Right.
And usually with pancreatic cancer, you don't find out until it's too late. So I was very blessed to find out in stage 2, because most people find out in stage 4 when they're giving you a few weeks, a few months to live. So I was blessed there, number 1. Number 2 was pancreatic cancer is more prominent in white older men.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was a game changer that this 20-something year old black female
Right.
has been diagnosed with pancreatic cancer.
Did you have any like side effects besides the blood count?
I had no side effects. I had nothing different. No appetite change. Nothing was different. So I can believe that people find out when it's too late, because it's one of those silent killers. Like, it's eating at you away, but nothing changes until it's absolutely too late. But me personally, I had no physical changes. Nothing changed from the inside out until I started to undergo chemotherapy.
So when you discovered you had pancreatic cancer, what was going through your mind? You know, what emotions?
First I was upset.
Right.
I'm really upset, honestly, at God, because I'm like, you know what I'm going through right now. Why would you put this on me too?
Right. And you're a new mother at that.
Yes,
Yeah.
and then I was a new mother, so it was like, why would you let me bring this child in the world and then take me from her? You know, so those were my first reactions, first emotions, and I kept it to myself for a few weeks. I didn't
Right.
tell anyone for a few weeks, and then I told a best friend who helped me tell my mom, and we went from there with putting it out there. But it was honestly, after the anger and frustration part, I started to realize that I was blessed to be able to have the chance to fight it, because a lot of people are not offered chemotherapy or anything because it's too late. So what's
Right.
the point of doing it? So the fact that I had the chance to be able to be offered treatment, and whether it took me out or whether I was healed from it, at least I was given that opportunity to be offered for the treatment. So in that sense, it started to change the way I thought about it, and so I became more grateful and more thankful
Absolutely.
for the situation, and I stopped being angry.
So the chemotherapy process, how long did that last?
I took chemotherapy for 3 months, and I took it 3 times a week for 3
Wow.
months. A lot of chemo.
So after you overcame it, and congratulations.
Thank
also,
you so much.
you know,
Thank you so much.
Unfortunately, some people can't really speak that they've overcame cancer,
Mhm.
and you came out of it. So
Mhm.
that's very. It shows your strength as a woman, and
Thank
for you
you.
to move forward in your life to where you are today.
Mhm.
So I know right after you came out with your book. Can
Mhm.
you speak on your book?
Yes. So while I was going through my chemotherapy process, I started writing. And the reason I started writing is because what I realized is my family didn't know what to do with me. And you would think just automatically, oh, someone in your family has cancer, you're going to know what to do. But really, people do not know. They don't understand because they haven't experienced it.
Right.
And so when I say I'm not hungry, I don't want to eat, I'm tired, I'm weak, all they see is, oh, you're not eating, you need to eat, and try to force you to eat, which makes a person like me in that situation even more frustrated, because you're not understanding how I feel on the inside. But to them, they're just being that caring, loving family member that's trying to get you to eat, do something simple. And so I started to write about the things that I was personally experiencing, that I could see my family didn't understand from the cancer patient standpoint. So I wrote my book. My book is called Confessions from Cancer: Know Your Role. In the know your role portion, it breaks down, if this is your child, how do you respond and react? If this is your friend, how do you respond and react? Because it's different levels to, different people. And because I experienced many a times where I became more agitated and frustrated with my family, because I felt like they should have been doing something that they wasn't doing, or they was doing too much of what I didn't want them to do. I'm like, if I feel this way, I'm pretty sure there are a lot of other people that have felt this way, dealing with, even if it's not cancer, any type of disease. And so the book really lays out how to care and be there, but not be overbearing to a person that's dealing with something like cancer.
And that's really creative, because it's looking at the situation that anyone could really relate to in another person's eyes. So that's very creative, for sure. Where can they find your book?
It is currently on Amazon and Kindle.
Yep. So after you wrote your book, what was the next step?
So after I wrote my book, divorce was coming to an end. I was coming up on my 1-year cancer anniversary. And so from there, it was like, it's go time. So from there, it was more so, God healed me for a reason. I'm still here for a reason. Even though I just went through one of the worst probably times of my life that I'm ever going to experience, He kept me here for a reason. So what am I going to do with this time? So I was always a community type person. Like, I was over a dance team at one point. I always volunteered, things like that. But after cancer, it's like, is that really enough? So I started to question what I was doing. But the main thing that I knew is that if cancer ever came back, I wanted my child to be secure. I wanted her to be financially secure. I wanted her to have something that even if she wasn't old enough to run it, it was already put in place for her. And so I started to look at her as she grew up, started to feel her vibe out, and really get to, okay, what is she into? And it was fashion, modeling, fashion, clothes, anything girly. And so I birthed Blair's Closet, which is after my daughter Blair, when she was 2 years old.
So what do you offer at Blair's?
So at Blair's Closet, we started off with only children's clothing, girls only. We only sell girls, toddler girls, children clothing. So since we started Blair's Closet 3 years ago, we have added on to the brand. So now we have Boss Gloss, which is our lip gloss line. We have Class Boss, which is our eyeshadow line. We have Boss Bags.
And that's all created by your daughter.
Yes. We have Boss Bags, which is our purse line. And then collectively together, we co-wrote a book called A Trip to Blair's Closet.
And that was just recently released, correct?
Yes.
So tell us more about that. I think that was such the cutest thing when I had seen that. I was like, oh, it touched my heart a little bit.
Yeah. So A Trip to Blair's Closet is a book about 3 friends who are just going downtown one day with their mom, with one of the friends' mom, and they just happened to run across Blair. At a pizza shop, and Blair tells him, oh, I have a store down the street with my mom. It's called Blair's Closet. And they come into the store, and the 3 girls, from the beginning of the book, they are complaining about their weight, their appearance, how they look, and they just have low self-esteem pretty much. And so they come into Blair's Closet, and Blair is able to transfer from them the inside out. She
Right.
transforms their mind about what they think about themselves. She transforms their appearance by putting them in some Blair's Closet clothes that fits their style, that fits their body type, and they walk out as new kids.
So your book, or your most recent book, it teaches a lesson. What is that major lesson out of it?
So the major lesson is realizing your self-worth and loving the way that God made you to be, whether it's thin, whether it's thick, whether it's chunky, whatever it is. There are clothes that will fit you.
Right.
There are clothes that are made for every body type, and that's what we wanted to put out there, that we don't want you to feel like you got to go change your appearance or anything like that as a young child.
Right.
No young child should feel that way. They should love their bodies exactly how they are. So the characters specifically all have 3 different body types, and when they enter the store, Blair is able to cater to them, cater to their needs based off of the negative things that they have said about themselves.
Awesome. And they can also find your book on Amazon as well?
Yeah, so they can find A Trip to Blair's Closet on Amazon, Kindle, or on our Blair's Closet website.
Get it for your kids.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. Great example. So where you are now, you have your own line as well.
Mm-hmm.
Can you provide more details on that?
Yeah, sure. So just recently, I launched Suited by Cryshaunda. And Suited by Cryshaunda is a women's clothing line that caters, is specifically suits, business suits, classy suits, sexy suits.
Right.
Whatever type of suit you're looking for, I'm pretty sure we have it. So it is a suit line, and the reason why I came out with this suit line is because I see a lot of entrepreneurs that cater to women's clothing, but I've never seen anyone that caters to the business side,
right,
for women, or the more classy side that's not as revealing. Not saying that there's anything wrong with it, but I know how I dress, and I know what I be looking for, and I didn't see it out there. So I created my own lane, pretty much.
We live in a society now where we have so many millennial entrepreneurs, where your line really, it fits perfect to where our generation is currently at. So when I had seen your line, I thought it was pretty amazing, because all of us queens are bosses. So that's
definitely,
congratulations on that as well.
Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you.
So where do you see yourself with everything that you're doing, the brand you're creating? Where do you see yourself going in 5 years as a goal?
In 5 years, I see myself probably moving to another state, because I feel like at a certain point I would have put my stamp on North Carolina.
Right.
And it would be time for me to move to another state and see what else is out there, and where I can create other opportunities for other boss babies, for other women, whoever, because that's my whole thing. I want to create other opportunities. I want people to understand generational wealth.
Right.
And if I can do that in other areas of the world, I would love to do that.
Perfect. I like that.
Thank you.
So everything you've been through in life, what would be the most words of advice for anyone who's watching, whether they're dealing with a cancer or a situation that is very difficult for them to overcome? What would you express to people to help them pursue their dreams and their visions through the midst of their circumstances?
What I would say is find your why. That's definitely, my why was my daughter. And if my daughter wasn't here, I don't know if I know what my why would have been, honestly. But I would say find your why. There has to be a person, a place, a thing, something that is enough to get you motivated, to lift a finger, to get out the bed, to open your blinds and let the sunshine come through.
Right.
Whatever that's going to help you get out of the state that you're in. Whether you're, in physical pain, mental pain, whatever it is, it's not going to instantly go away. But we all need to find our why to keep pushing through it. And I went through months of pain, but I still worked.
Right.
I went through, months of turmoil, but I still was a great parent, to my daughter, because that was my why. And I knew that if I laid in the bed and moped all day and didn't work and didn't get dressed, I would be consumed with the thoughts of what I was going through. And so keeping my daily routine and still doing everything I would do as if I was completely healthy is what kept me going.
Well, you've heard it, guys. We've had Cryshaunda Rorie come to the show today, and I thank you for your time, for speaking your story, sharing it with everyone who's watching, and just keep up the great work. You're doing a phenomenal job. You're impacting the world, and with all of us coming together and making impacts, man, the world can change. So I thank you so much for coming on and sharing.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
I'm just hoping for some change now. Get my niggas out them chains now.